Welcome back to our third video in our linked list series. We are going to be compiling our program right now and see if we need to correct any errors or if we need to add anything else. After compiling our program, what we're going to go ahead and do is write a function to print what is inside our linked list. So before we start, I did forget to write our return 0 at the end of our main function, and I just was double checking that everything in the scanf was corresponding to the variables right here. So to compile this program, what we're going to go ahead and do is go to our terminal, type GCC, and then we're going to type flags to check for, to be more specific, to check for the errors. So we're going to have W extra, W error, and W pedantic. Oh, I'm sorry, not W, so only pedantic. If you are not quite sure what this means, you can probably Google and find information about it. Maybe in the future I'll make a video explaining these things. And then we're going to go ahead and type the name of the program at the end. So after that, we click enter and check that in our program main.c in line 3 and main.c line 4, we have 2 errors. And both of the errors seem to be the same one. So let's go to line 3 and 4. So on line 3 and 4, sure enough, we forgot to say struct right in front of our list right here. Oops. And here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and compile one more time. So this time we didn't get any errors, and we created a file a.out. That is the compilation of our program. So we're gonna go ahead and run that. So it seems like it's not doing nothing, but it's actually waiting for input right here. So it's going to be waiting for the size of our linked list, so how many nodes it's going to have, the number that it's going to contain, and how many times we're going to rotate our linked list. We haven't gotten to this part yet. We'll get to it in our next video. But as for right now, we need to input 3 numbers. So we're going to have number 3 for how many nodes we have or we want to have. The number that we want, let's say number 1, and how many times we're going to rotate. This is not going to do nothing with this variable, but let's say 3. Then we'll click enter and we exit our program because nothing, it's really going to be outputted to the screen at this point. So if you can see in here, we only put in one number, which is going to be number 1 right here. And what we need to do is add as many numbers as we want for the size. So to do that, we're going to jump back into our code, and we're going to write this with a for loop. So we're going to first define a variable to keep count of how many loops we do in the for loop. Then we're going to go ahead and write a for loop right here and say that we want a variable I to start at 0, and we want to continue our for loop until I is smaller than the size. And at the end of a for loop, of course, we're going to go ahead and add I++, so we don't create an infinity loop. We also want our if statement, of course, inside here. And now what we're going to do is our number is actually going to be called inside our for loop right here. As you can see, I deleted one of these letters right here, and also I deleted the variable reference in here. So we're going to go ahead and call that inside the for loop, and we need the address of a number right here to scan a integer into this variable right here. So now what's going to happen is when we compile this program, it's going to go here, it's going to ask us for 2 variables, for 2 integers, then it's going to go inside this for loop, and it's going to ask us for as many integers as we decided in size. and it's gonna create those many nodes, and it's gonna make the connection just like we explained it in our previous videos right here. So let's compile this program right here. So no errors, and we are gonna go ahead and run our program. It's gonna want two numbers. So let's say we want our size to be 3 and our rotations to be 3. Now it's gonna expect 3 numbers. So let's say we want 1, we want 2, and we want 3. And as you can see, the program finishes. So in the background and internally, it created these connections, and it did these operations really fast. But once again, we don't have nothing inputted into the program to output into our terminal right here. So just to test, we're gonna go ahead and run our program again. We're gonna say we want to find 5 numbers. So you should run this for loop 5 times. And we are going to just say that we want to rotate it, but it's just because it's expecting it right now, but we're not doing nothing with this number. So that's going once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. So that for loop seems to be working. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is after we have the numbers and we create our linked list, we are going to call a function that we're gonna go ahead and call print node, which we're gonna send a reference to our root. And I will explain this in a little bit. We are going to say that the return type of this function is gonna be of type void. And of course, print node is gonna be the name. And the argument is gonna be a double pointer to a list that we choose to call root. So we're gonna go ahead and define our function at the end of our program right here. Okay, so to explain a little bit what's gonna happen is we are sending a reference to this node right here. After we have that reference, we are going to basically iterate through our linked list. So we are gonna say, look what's inside the pointer, what root is pointing to, and print it. So it's gonna print 1. Then we're gonna go ahead and move to the next one and say, look at what is inside this node right here. It's gonna print this, and it's gonna say, look what's inside here, print it as well, and stop when the next is root. So basically, that's how we're gonna know that we're gonna end our program. So a couple things that we're gonna need here is just a reference to the first node as well. So we're gonna say current node is gonna be pointed here, and we're gonna specify that in our program a little bit. But basically, this is the way we're gonna be iterating through our double linked list right here. And let me move this right here just for convenience. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is first declare a variable of type list, which is the structure that we defined. Then we're gonna say that we want to call it current node, and current node is gonna be at the same level as root. So basically, it's gonna be pointing to whatever root is pointing to. So now we want to iterate through the nodes right here. So we're gonna do that with a while loop, and we're gonna say while current node next is not equal to root, or whatever root is pointing to, we're gonna go ahead and print the number or the information contained inside our node right here, and that's gonna be current node number. So that's basically a reference to the information inside here. After we print a number, what we're gonna go ahead and do is move current node. We're gonna move current node to whatever current node next is. So in this case, let's say we call this function right here, and we print the number 1. So we just print this number right here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go around and check current node next is not equal to root. So we're going to go ahead and move this right here. So this no longer exists in that direction, but now is pointing to the second node right here. So it's going to go ahead and print number 2 and check what the next of this node is here. So the next of this node is not root. So it's not what root is pointing to. So we're going to go ahead and move current node to here. And that's a funny looking N, but that's an N. And we're going to go ahead and move that out of the way as well. So now that's pointing there. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is say, is current node next? So is current node next equal to root? It is. So we're going to exit out of our while loop in this case. And we need to print number 3. We haven't printed number 3 yet. So we're just going to go ahead and print our node right there, because we know that's the last time that's going to get called. So we just print number 3. And our program is going to stop. So this is gonna stop right here, and it's gonna jump back into our main function and then just return. So let's try it out. Let's see what happens. So we're gonna go ahead and compile this one more time. So we are gonna go ahead and call GCC with our main. No errors happen. We're gonna go ahead and compile it. It's expecting again the size and the times we want to rotate it. So let's say we want to have 3 nodes and we want to rotate it 3 times. This doesn't matter at this moment. So we're gonna have number 1, 2, and 3. And as we can see, printed the numbers 1, 2, 3. So to be more precise, let's just do that so we know this is what it's printing. Compile it again, and then we want 3 nodes, rotate it 3 times, sure. And we're gonna go ahead and do 1, 2, and 3, and it printed those numbers in order. Okay, so that's it for this video. In our next video, we're gonna go ahead and rotate our numbers. So I'll see you in the next one.